Welcome back to day 3 of our There is a Season Minis Reflection Series. Today we are visiting a season of autumn, a time when learning how to balance the darkness with light, a time of letting go and appreciating the important work and practicing of meaning. Hello, my name is Paula, and I'm a spiritual director and hospitality coordinator here at the Norva Teen Center. Autumn is symbolized by the balancing of light and dark, both in the world and nature, and our spiritual growth. Fall is a time of winding down and going inward for self-reflection as we prepare for the coming months. In Parker Palmer's book, Let Your Life Speak, he writes, most of us arrive at a sense of self and vocation only after a long journey through alien lands. But the journey bears no resemblance to the trouble-free travel packages sold by tourist industries. It is more like an ancient tradition of pilgrimage, of transformative journey to a sacred center filled of hardships, darkness, and peril. The story of my journey is no more or less important than anyone else's. However, it is the best source I have on the subject, where generalization often fails, but truth may be found in some of the details. My first journey through darkness began in a happy place filled with light. I felt as a young child supported and loved for who I was. My spiritual and religious life was taught, practiced, and lived. Later in life, when I was an adult, I was married, and we had 4 children. Within the 10 years of that, within the first 10 years of my children's life, I developed an illness that would often make me feel like I was 90 years old. Often I felt like I could feel every bone in my body, every joint hurt. It wasn't that I was always in such pain, but when the disease wasn't in remission, there were times where it was worse than others. At times I couldn't walk up steps. I had to crawl with the kids. Other times, I just had to really be aware of my surroundings. I couldn't always leave the house. I had to stay home. Sometimes I couldn't go out and play with the children. I would have them play in the house at the time instead of going outside. So we would lay on the floor and just play and have fun. But within those 10 years, I searched for a much deeper meaning of what life was about and how to love my children to the best of my ability. I didn't know what was going to become of me and what was going to happen, and I just felt like life was short and that I had to make every moment count. At one point in this dark journey, there was a time where I was filled with such peace and joy, and my mind had just opened. And when that happened, everything was so clear. It wasn't like I was trying to figure something out. It was all right there in front of me. The importance that I was looking for, the tools that I needed. I saw my children as a gift from God, and I wanted so much to give that gift back to God the best way I knew how. And I felt that day life became so simple and less complicated, and the feeling of what I needed to do with these children was comforting. I felt that with this experience now, as I look back, that time was just one time We go through so many of these dark times in our life, but this was the first. And I am still collecting fruits from the seeds that were spread from way back 20 years ago. Thomas Mertens writes that there is a visible thing, a hidden wholeness in the visible world of nature. A great truth is concealed in plain sight. Diminished and beautiful, darkness and light, death and life are not opposites. They are all held together in the paradox of hidden wholeness. As we watch the leaves flutter to the ground in the fall, we are reminded of nature's cycle and mirror it in our lives. Autumn is a time of letting go and releasing things that have burdened us. All the religious traditions pay tribute to such acts. Fall is the right time to practice getting out of the way and letting the Spirit take charge of our lives. To learn this act of letting go, you only need to look to nature and how she transitions through her seasons. One season comes to an end and another begins, and sometimes gradually and sometimes abruptly. Phases of our lives will come to an end before another begins. Notice what energies are asking to be brought to contemplation in your life at this time. Ask yourself the following questions. What actions do you need to take in order to honor your own cycles of beginning, middle, and end? What are you holding on to that no longer is necessary? What baggage are you still lugging around? And are you struggling against the inevitable? Sometime during the day, I invite you to find a candle, light it and hold it in between your hands. Notice the light and the warmth coming from the candle. Extend the candle in front of you as a symbol of hope for the future. Then set the candle down and write about the guiding, healing light that is within you. Peace be with you, and thank you.